What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we now know the economy is changing. We are seeing massive changes as we speak, and these changes are going to impact you and your wallet. Now, today we're going to discuss some of these changes. We're also going to discuss what is happening within Congress, because the biggest fight right now is actually coming from the House of Representatives, that there are multiple GOP members that are actually calling for a government shutdown. This is going to be massive, because what is about to take place is actually going to impact whether or not we see a deal get done. So I will address that in just a moment. First, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. But let's get right down to it. So here's what's happening. First off, today is a pretty big day. Okay, and the reason why it's a very big day is because it's been 22 years since the tragedy of 9/11. Now, in those 22 years, just to give you an idea, we have seen many different changes. Okay, we've gone through multiple recessions, but in those 22 years, back in on September of 2001, gas was $1.50 a gallon. Today, it's much more. We know the average home price was $185,000. Today, it's much, much more. A new car would go for around $21,000. Again, today, it's much more. And the median household income back in 2001 was $42,228. The U.S. debt was also $5.77 trillion in the end of the fiscal year. Now, the reason why this is so important is because of where things are at and how things have changed over those 22 years. And again, this is why many are saying that the economy is going to get worse. Today, gas prices are $3.83 a gallon nationwide. The average home price is $410,000. The new car will run you about $48,000. The median household income today is $81,000. And yet our U.S. debt is $33 trillion. Okay? The reason why the economy is about to get worse is because banks now have a massive crisis on their hands. Just to give you an idea, okay, U.S. banks are now holding about $3.3 trillion in cash simply because they are worried. According to reports and according to Reuters, it says U.S. lenders are holding on to large piles of cash as insurance against a slowing economy, continuing deposit outflows, and looming tougher liquidity rules that could particularly impact mid-sized banks. The Reuters article also goes on to say the buildup is another example of a risk-averse approach from a sector still trying to regain its footing after a string of springtime bank failures, one which could result in restrained lending. Now, what does this mean? Well, the U.S. economy is going to struggle because banks are not going to continue to lend money to the average consumer. If you have okay credit, well, chances are you're not going to get a loan. If you have just started a job, you're probably not going to get a loan. Oh, you want a loan at the lowest interest rate? Sorry, we can't do that. Because banks want some type of insurance that you are going to continue to make payments. So if banks aren't going to lend money, how are businesses going to grow? How are people going to purchase a house, purchase a car, things like that? How are they going to go to school, right? Pay for an education? Well, that's a different thing, because education is another one of those things that a lot of people are looking into. Just to give you an idea, Republicans at this time are looking into ways to block President Biden's SAVE plan. You know, this is the plan where instead of paying 10% of your monthly income, for or maximum of 10%, going to your student loan debt? He says no, maximum of 5%. That's part of it. It's going to also give you like an on-ramp for making payments. Instead of starting on October 1st of 2023, you got one additional year where if you don't make a payment, that's no problem because it's not going to affect your credit. And Republicans are saying that, well, this isn't right. We can't do that. And so now they're trying to block it. Another thing, the other thing that Republicans are doing at this time, and this is not all Republicans, I just want to be very clear on that, but there's some hardline Republicans that at this time they're eager for a fight. They are willing to see the U.S. government shut down simply because they want to ensure that what they are asking for is being heard. So what are they asking for? Well, here's what we know. Multiple people are demanding impeachment inquiries into President Biden. And if Speaker Kevin McCarthy doesn't want to do that, they are not going to vote in favor of a fiscal spending bill. They're just not going to vote. They're also asking for deep spending cuts. And if we don't see some massive spending cuts, probably to the tune of $200 to $400 billion in spending cuts, then they are not going to vote yes. They would be in favor of a government shutdown. Now, here's something else I want to read to you. This actually just came out this morning. It says, the lawmakers are saying that the truth is they're going to use the power that they were given to force change, because if people are not paying them to not do their job. That actually came from, I think, Representative Chip Roy out of Texas. But what we know is many allies of Speaker Kevin McCarthy, they're among those that are putting the most pressure on him. They're trying to get him to pretty much do what they're asking. And that's why it's turning into an issue. Get this. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She supports Kevin McCarthy and has supported him multiple times. She said she will not vote to fund the government unless the House opens an impeachment investigation into President Biden. Yes, impeachment. It's big. We also know Representative Matt Gaetz out of Florida. He doesn't always go with Speaker Kevin McCarthy, but he suggested that he could force a vote on ousting the Speaker if he does not push forward on investigations of President Biden and other officials. And he simply said, if Speaker Kevin McCarthy stands in our way, he may not have a job long. All right. This is the path that we're going down. And I bring this up because there's a lot of stuff happening at this time. And keep in mind, we got a new CPI report coming out this week. We got the Federal Reserve coming out next week. Okay, there will be, next week or the week after, they'll let us know whether or not interest rates are going to continue to go up, or are they going to stay, right where they're at. Probably not going to drop them, but we will see. Again, all this stuff is happening. It's all coming, and the problem is all this stuff is kind of coming to that intersection all at the same time. That's where we see problems. Okay. So I just wanted to fill you in on what's going on, because again, the economy is likely to get worse. It's not going to get better. It will likely get worse over the next few months. Then maybe it gets a little bit better. But what I can tell you is that you need to be prepared. Start saving some money. Maybe work an extra job. Stop spending as much money, and just be ready for when these things do happen. Because according to many experts, it will happen sometime in 2023. Where it's going to be an SHTF moment, where you know what's going to hit the fan. When it does, you need to be prepared. So, that's what we got for you guys today. As always, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next one.